What's up, everyone? Justin here, back with a new Year in Wrestling Reloaded 1997 Part 3. Gonna talk about some of my favorite matches from the year 97. Also, a really bad matchup that happened in 97 that was embarrassing. Also, I'm going to talk about some feuds that were really good in 97 and some big moments and my favorite pay-per-view events from 97 I will talk about. I'm not going to review every ECW, WCW, WWF pay-per-view in 97. I already did that. Check out my Year in Wrestling, original Year in Wrestling shows in my Year in Wrestling playlist. Check that out. Check those shows out. That's where I reviewed every pay-per-view from 87 to 2015 or something. So check out my Year in Wrestling playlist. But this is a Year in Wrestling Reloaded 1997 Part 3. I'm going to kick it off starting talking about ECW's Super Show, their monthly event. Happened August 9th, 97, Born to be Wired, right before Hardcore Heaven 97's pay-per-view. Born to be Wired, again, August 9th, 97, took place at the ECW Arena, right before Hardcore Heaven. And before this event, Born to be Wired, Jerry the King Lawler did invade ECW. Jim Cornette actually invaded ECW. That was pretty fucking awesome. And at one point, poor Tommy Dreamer. At one point, Jerry Lawler picked up a Singapore King, cracked him in the balls and the nuts, and popped or burst one of Dreamer's testicles. He needed to go to the hospital emergency room and get his testicle, I believe, drained with blood out of it or something. That had to fucking hurt. Tommy Dreamer, you are hardcore. The guy's insane. The punishment Tommy Dreamer took in ECW was insane. It's a miracle he can still walk and wrestle. So Born to be Wired. Again, Jim Cornette invading the ECW arena. That was awesome. So up first we had, as I review Born to be Wired, Little Guido defeated Pablo Marquez. Was not very long, 6 minutes. Mikey Whipwreck defeated Louis Spicolli. 6 minutes again, almost 7. Spike Dudley defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. And I don't think this was the time Bam Bam pressed, slammed him, and tossed him into the crowd in the ECW arena. I think that was a little bit later in 97. But you do it at Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view 97. Bam Bam tossed Spike in the crowd. It was insane. And the crowd caught him because the ECW fans were hardcore. If you got a wrestler thrown at you, you caught him. Or you got knocked on your ass. So Spike Dudley defeated Bam Bam. That was awesome. That really put over Spike Dudley as like a giant killer. And good on Bam Bam. Props to Bam Bam. Rest in peace, Bam Bam, a great big man. Props to Bam Bam Bigelow for doing that, for putting over Spike and putting his ego aside because he was a way bigger star than Spike. Chris Candido defeated Chris Chetti. I'm sure that was a good match. Chris Candido, rest in peace. He was a great worker, great wrestler. Sadly, Chris should still be here. and Tammy, you should be gone, because you don't care about life. You actually disrespect your own life and others, because you were drunk driving many times, or being a jackass moron many times. If Chris was alive, he'd be embarrassed of what Sunny has done with her life. Look, she can make a living any way she wants, but she's just pathetic. I will never talk about her again on my channel. Up next, this was where it started getting really good. Shane Douglas defeated Lance Storm in 9 minutes. Then up next, we had for the TV title, Taz. Taz defeated Al Snow to retain the ECW TV title. Big Dick Dudley, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley defeated Axelron, Balls Mahoney, and Hack Myers. Rob Van Dam defeated Tommy Dreamer. In the main event, legendary, really violent. If you don't like hardcore wrestling, you probably would not watch this or be able to. It can make some sick to their stomach. It was insane. Sabu, right before Hardcore Heaven, like a couple days before the pay-per-view, Sabu defeated Terry Funk, the ECW heavyweight champion, in a barbed wire matchup to win the ECW world title. Went 20 minutes. There was some interference from, I believe, RVD, and I don't remember who else. But just insane. Fucking insane what happened in that barbed wire match. Sabu got his bicep ripped open. Now, Sabu, a lot of comments he has made is stupid. The guy seems like he doesn't have a brain. Or he has some whacked out fucking views on wrestling, or women. I don't know how he feels about women's wrestling, but he probably doesn't like it. But I'm talking about Sabu as a wrestler. Take his what he says in real life, take that to the side. Put that to the side. Ignore that, because who cares what he thinks? Nobody wants to hear from him. But as a wrestler, Sabu deserves respect. The guy killed his body for the business, beat his body to shit, sacrificed himself and his own body for the fans and for ECW. I don't know why you do all that to his body for himself. That would be pointless. I guess he did it for the money and because he wanted to be the most insane, homicidal, suicidal, genocidal wrestler ever. He's still not as tough as Mick Foley, but Sabu was fucking tough. So I do respect him for putting his body through all that. And he was a good worker when he could be. He could wrestle and put on a really good match. His best matches were against RVD, in my opinion, in his career. So Sabu gets his whole bicep ripped open from the barbed wire because he decided to jump off a chair into Funk. I believe Terry moved. Maybe he didn't move, but Sabu caught his arm on the barbed wire ropes and got his bicep cut open. 100 stitches to close it. I don't know when he got the stitches. Maybe he never did, but the story was backstage or in the ring, he asked Bill Alfonso for a whole bunch of tape and super glue, and he super glued the wound shut. Super glued it shut. Covered it with tape. That's insane. I would hope he got stitches and got that cleaned out, because he could have got a goddamn infection and died. But obviously he lived. So That barbed wire match. No wonder why the show was called Born to be Wired. It was insane. Terry Funk, Sabu barbed wire match. August 9th, 97 was fucking insane. If you haven't seen it, try to find it and watch it. So up next at nothing's the next. That was the main event at Born to be Wired. Now I'm going to talk about ECW As Good As It Gets. Happened in, I believe, September 97 was ECW As Good As It Gets. So here we go. It happened in October. Right about a month before November to Remember 97, which was a really good pay-per-view. September 20th, 97 at the ECW Arena, As Good As It Gets. Up first, you had the FBI, Little Guido, Tracy Smothers defeat Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. Up next, you had Just Incredible, just basically made his debut in ECW, got a monster fucking push, and that was good, and that was smart of Paul Heyman, because he pushed a younger guy that WWF definitely saw nothing in. They made him fucking Aldo Montoya. What the fuck was that stupid gimmick? You know, that was an early 90s cartoonish gimmick. It was awful. Paul Heyman is truly a genius. He made Aldo Montoya into Just Incredible and made him a main eventer. Pushed him as a main eventer. Just Incredible defeated Jerry Lynn. They always had great matches together. Chris Candido defeated Lance Storm. They were the tag champions earlier. I think they still were in 97. Maybe. I don't know about in October, but they were the tag champs in 97 and they did not get along. So Candido defeated Lance Storm. Again, two great workers. They had a good match. Bam Bam Bigelow defeated Spike Dudley in 5 minutes. I believe this is when he press slammed him. Gorilla press. Tossed him over the top rope. I believe he got a running start and tossed Little Spike over the top, over the barricade into the fans. And then they body surfed him. It was awesome. It was great. If you saw that live or on video, whenever you saw it, you couldn't even believe this was wrestling. What you were seeing. Bam Bam tossed Spike in the crowd. That is not a storyline. That shit was real. And that's why ECW was so goddamn great. A lot of stuff they did felt real, looked real, and probably was. Because a lot of guys got fucking hurt and got their heads bashed in with chairs. If you worked in ECW, you need to be fucking tough and hardcore. And you probably really respected the business. So Little Spike gets body surfed. That was fucking cool to see. As a wrestling fan, when I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck was that? That was insane. And I instantly wanted to see more ECW when I saw Spike tossed in the crowd. Like, what other promotion ever has done something like that? Nobody, in my opinion. Nobody did that before ECW did a lot of first things they did for the first time ever in wrestling. They were the first company to put two wrestlers through a ring. And then look what happened. WWF stole it. WCW stole that also. So, in the Attitude Era, that was taken from ECW, by the way. It was great. Attitude Era, a lot of it was great. A lot of the talents were Hall of Famers that fucking killed it with the opportunities they were given, storylines they were put in, they killed it. Even Val Venus. And I was not a huge fan of Val. I didn't hate Val Venus, but he was not one of my favorites. But Val Venus even was good and got himself over big time. Fucking Gillberg got himself over because he was a parody of Goldberg. Gillberg actually had no business getting over. If WWF wasn't in a war with WCW, Gillberg would have never got over. So back to As Good As It Gets, my review of it. Or I'm giving you the results. I don't know if you call it a review or results, whatever. Up next, we had Shane Douglas, the ECW, who was that? Yeah, he still was World Heavyweight Champion. Because Shane Douglas won it at Hardcore Heaven in a triple threat. Shane Douglas, ECW World Champion, a couple weeks later, maybe days, he'd lose it to Bam Bam Bigelow, and then he'd get it back at November to Remember. Shane Douglas defending the ECW World title against Philip Latham in 12 minutes. Taz defeating Pitbull number 2 for the ECW TV title. Taz retained. Good God, it was only 30 seconds. Taz destroyed Pitbull 2. Sabu and the Sandman ended in a no contest, and then Sabu threw fire in the Sandman's face and burned him. That would set up their big match, Tables, Ladders. I think it's called Tables, Ladders, Canes or something. Basically TLC. At November to Remember, Sabu, Sandman had a pretty damn good hardcore match at November to Remember 97. Up next, we had Beulah. Beulah and Tommy Dreamer defeated Bill Alfonso and Rob Van Dam, or it was a no contest. And then after it, you had Beulah and Bill Alfonso wrestle and beat the crap out of each other. Bill Alfonso bled buckets. He bled a lot with Beulah. And Beulah defeated Bill Alfonso. Again, Beulah was with Axel Rotten, Balls Mahoney, Mikey Whipwreck, and New Jack as she defeated Bill Alfonso. 7 minutes. The Gangsters, I believe this was the main event, I don't know, but the Gangsternators, John Kronus, New Jack defeated the Dudleys to win the ECW Tag Team titles. I believe they lose them at November to Remember or right before. Dudleys were, I believe, 8-time ECW Tag Champs, so they won them a lot and lost them a lot. So that was As Good As It Gets. Before As Good As It Gets, Terry Funk claimed he's retiring. We had Terry Funk had Terry Funk's WrestleFest, where Terry Funk took on Bret the Hitman Hart. And that was pretty good. That match is actually on the WWE Network and the Gems. So Terry Funk's WrestleFest was not really an ECW show, but I believe they released it on video. A lot of ECW guys were on it, but guys were also on it from Japan, the Headhunters, and Jake the Snake was on it. Hayabusa, Hakushi, Gran Hamada. So you had a lot of guys from Japan and ECW and all over. The Bushwhackers were on it. So, anyways, As Good As It Gets was the last ECW monthly super show. It was not a pay-per-view, but it was a super show. So I'll talk about more ECW, and I will review more ECW super shows in my 1998 Year in Wrestling Reloaded. So now I'm going to talk about, if you hear background noise, it's an air conditioner. starting to sweat, so I had to turn it on. It's getting hot in here. And I'm not going to take off all my clothes, like the song says. So, now I'm going to talk about one of the worst matches I've seen. In the year 97, it was one of the worst matches of all time. Not number one, but it was bad. It was a main event of a pay-per-view, a WCW pay-per-view. Halloween Havoc 97, which had a match of the year on it. And then you had the main event, Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, Rowdy Piper. In a cage, a giant cage. Thunderdome cage. And it was bad. The match was shit. The finish was shit. The fans didn't give a rat's ass. Nobody cared. Hogan put handcuffs on Piper from the cage. It was bad. And then poor Randy Savage climbed up to the top of the damn giant cage, like 25 feet up. And poor Randy Savage, at his age, in 97, I think he's like in his 40s or something, but the guy's knees and legs already took a beating from a long career. This was 97, and Randy Savage jumps off the top of the goddamn Thunderdome cage into the ring. And I think he missed either Piper or Hogan. He missed them. It was just bad. It was a bad, dangerous, stupid spot for Randy Savage to jump off the top of a giant cage at his age. Guy could have blew his knee out, or worse, broke his hip or something. And what do you know, in the spring of 98, Randy Savage had to go away for knee surgery because his knees were done. So that was just one of the worst matches of 97, Piper, Hogan, Halloween Havoc. Some of the best matches, some of my favorite matches from 97. Rey Mysterio Jr., Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc 97. It might have, I don't know if it opened the show, but it was fucking awesome. For the Cruiserweight title, they killed it. They had great chemistry always. What a fucking match. 5 stars. It was great. Now, other great matches, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 13, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell, the first ever Hell in a Cell, at Bad Blood in Your House. Now I'm going to talk about Bret Hart and Stone Cold. They were on a great episode of Raw. I think it's April 97. Stone Cold attacked Bret Hart's knee, bashed him, hit him with the chair over and over. Bret Hart got loaded into an ambulance, and Stone Cold's driving. Went to the back and attacked Bret on the damn stretcher. That was awesome. Or pulled him out of the ambulance and attacked him. Great episode of Raw. Gorilla Monsoon was a commissioner. He was yelling at Stone Cold, "What the hell's wrong with you? What's your problem?" Stone Cold was in Gorilla's face yelling, "I don't give a damn, I do whatever I want." Might even flipped off Gorilla. So then, sadly, SummerSlam 97, Stone Cold gets dropped on his head. Tombstone Pyro Driver. I don't know why Owen Hart had to sit down on his ass. That was not smart. Let me turn this off because I'm a little cooled off. So, anyways, it's been very hot every fucking day here in Milwaukee. It's been like 88, 93 degrees every goddamn day and fucking humid as hell. And I stay upstairs is my bedroom. So you can't live upstairs without a damn air conditioner because it gets hot. My ceiling is not that high. So, yeah, Stone Cold dropped. I don't know why Owen Hart sat down on his ass. to do the tombstone. That's not safe. Don't do that. Stone Cold's head spiked into the mat. The guy couldn't move his arms or legs. He's laying on the mat, telling the ref, Earl Hebner, I can't move. I can't go home. I can't even do the go home finish, the roll. So I guess Earl told Owen, this is what I heard. Earl told Owen Hart, you gotta like basically fall back and let Stone Cold roll you up. It was one of the weakest roll-ups in wrestling history, and Owen stayed down for the 3. And somehow, thank God, Stone Cold got up on his feet and was not paralyzed, and the refs helped him up. He held up the title, but he was in fucking pain, and he was pissed. I'm sure when Owen passed away, Stone Cold probably let his grudge go with what Owen did to him. But you notice how after Stone Cold became champion, I know Owen was a face. He was a baby face. And then he's a heel again at the end of 98, 99. But Stone Cold as champion never worked with Owen Hart again. He probably did hold a grudge to what Owen did to him, but maybe forgave him. And I'm sure Owen apologized a lot. I don't know if he held a grudge. I'm just saying maybe he did. I wouldn't blame him if he did hold a grudge to someone dropping you on your fucking head, almost paralyzing you. By the way, rest in peace, Owen Hart. So then, also what was good at SummerSlam, more good about 97, the Bret Hart Stone Cold feud. That was great. Undertaker Bret Hart had a great match at SummerSlam 97. HBK was a ref. That was a great finish. Taker gets hit with the chair from Shawn Michaels, and then Shawn has to count to 3 when Bret goes on top of Taker. So Bret becomes world champion. A world title change on WCW Nitro, which was really rare. Only happened in 96, I think, twice. On Raw, you didn't have a title change for the world title until June 98, when Stone Cold defeated Kane. But on Nitro, they did it first. World title changes on Monday Nitro. They did it in 97. Lex Luger defeated Hollywood Hogan, and he got a fucking big pop from the crowd in Detroit. And that was a great moment. I'm not a fan of Lex Luger as a wrestler, never have been. The guy only had good matches with Sting and Ric Flair. And that was it. Because they could carry him. And Ricky Steamboat carried him. So Lex Luger winning the world title was pretty damn cool because it was a world title change on free cable TV. So now I'm going to talk about, let's talk about Bash at the Beach. Bash at the Beach, 97, Dennis Rodman makes his in-ring debut with Hollywood Hogan. Main event of Bash at the Beach. That was pretty damn cool to see Rodman and Hogan team up against the giant Lex Luger. Rodman did really give WCW a lot of press. So it was a really smart move to bring him in. Let's talk about some of the rise of 1997. You had a lot of rising stars that would go on to become main eventers. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a rising star in 97. The Rock became a rising star, part of the Nation. Won the Intercontinental title, I believe, twice. Or had 2 reigns. Goldberg made his debut September 97 on Nitro. He would go on to become a mega fucking top guy in WCW until they buried him and ruined him. At Starrcade 98, they fucking buried him and ruined him. And Goldberg, I guess, couldn't say no to losing. to Kevin Nash. If I was him, I would have fucking argued I don't want to lose. Let's not have me lose yet. But whatever. Goldberg was played like a fiddle by backstage politics, probably by Kevin Nash and Hogan. I don't know about Bischoff. Bischoff didn't really protect Goldberg. But I think Kevin Nash and Hogan had guaranteed contracts so they could outrule any outcome of a match. If they were told they're going to lose, well, they could say, no, I'm not. I'm going to use my guaranteed contract, creative control option. I think Hogan had creative control. I don't know if Nash did. At least Kevin Nash lost a lot in WCW. Hogan barely ever lost. But he did put over Goldberg. That was the right call. So, yeah, Goldberg debuts on Nitro in September 97. The NWO was on fucking fire in 97. They really were. They were on fucking fire. Super popular. Sold a ton of NWO shirts. They were on fire. They were a heel faction. But the NWO got baby face reactions all the fucking time because they were so damn cool. You could not hate them. I didn't. I loved them as a kid. I was 13 in 97. I loved the NWO. But, and Sting, what Sting was doing in 97 was awesome. I was a bigger Sting fan than NWO fan, I will admit. Another match of the year I gotta talk about. DDP, Randy Savage had great matches. Great American Bash, 97, and Halloween Havoc, 97. They tore it up. Who would think that Randy Savage in 1997 could have a matches of the year, but he did with DDP. So now I'm going to talk about before Bad Blood in Your House pay-per-view, sadly Brian Pillman was found dead in his hotel room. I believe he died of a heart condition or something. I don't remember really. I think it was a heart condition. I don't know if it was a heart attack. I'm sure he did drugs before he passed. I'm not saying the day he passed. I'm talking about the years before. He probably did do drugs. Or maybe abuse them. I don't know. He did have a badly broken ankle from a car accident. He probably was on painkillers most of 96 and 97. He broke his ankle, I believe, right after WWF signed him. So, so sadly, Brian Pillman, in 97, we lost Brian Pillman. The guy was a great talker, great worker. Sadly, his WWF run was not remembered hardly at all because he didn't do much. He had a little feud with Stone Cold. Stone Cold stomped on his ankle with a chair on it. I think that was on Superstars in 96. Stone Cold and Pillman actually had a match, I believe, on Raw in 97, but it wasn't that good. I think it was short and like a DQ finish or something. Or Hart Foundation interfered for Pillman. So Pillman could have done a lot more. So much more. So he could have done such good shit. If he's healthy in the WWF, he could have been great. He's pretty good on commentary. I will say that, and starting to get hot again. Anyways, Pillman in WWF could have been great, but sadly, the guy had a badly injured ankle, and he couldn't wrestle, barely at all. And when he did wrestle, he barely moved quick, could barely do anything he used to be able to do. Couldn't go up top rope anymore. Couldn't do anything that Flying Brian used to do. But still, Pillman on commentary and cutting promos was an asset. But I don't know how much he's paid. Probably a lot. But WWF did not get their money's worth with Brian Pillman at all. And sadly, he was in a car accident. Sadly, October, he passed away. Rest in peace, Brian Pillman. I remember him a lot more from his work in WCW. In ECW, he was just nuts. He was a loose cannon. You could not tell if he was playing a character or just being fucking nuts and crazy, acting nuts. At one point, he pulled a fan out of the crowd at the ECW arena and beat up a fan. Or injured a fan. And I still don't know if that was real or set up. Because Pillman is fucking nuts. So, now I'm going to talk about some of my favorite pay-per-views from 1997. Also, I have to mention Triple H won the King of the Ring 97. That was pretty cool. And Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold had a really good match at King of the Ring 97. I think it was a time limit draw or double DQ or something. They wrestled for like 30 minutes, I believe. So now some of my favorite pay-per-views. Also, I gotta mention, before my favorite pay-per-views in ECW, you had the BWO. That was funny as hell. That was hilarious. That was good stuff. The BWO was a parody of the NWO. The BWO shirts, that sold very well. Also, Al Snow debuted Head. Not getting Head. Debuted the Mannequin Head with him. As his manager, I guess. So, anyways, Al Snow debuted Head on ECW TV, and at the November to Remember 97, he cut a promo with Head. It was pretty damn good. Talking to the Head. And what do you know? A fucking mannequin head. A mannequin head with hair saved Al Snow's career. That's crazy. It got him super over. I know that. It got him so over. Vince and WWF brought him back from ECW after he was there. I think he was under WWF contract. And I believe he's under WWF contract still, and he got Head so over. A fucking mannequin Head so over. This is how crazy wrestling was in the 90s, people. If you were not living it, if you were not alive, you don't know. I know, I was alive. And a fucking mannequin Head got super over and got Al Snow over. It was great. It was fucking crazy times in the late 90s, Monday Night Wars. Crazy, crazy fucking good times. Insane times. Stuff, if I told a non-wrestling fan, oh yeah, a mannequin head and this wrestler got super popular in 97, they wouldn't believe me. So, now my favorite pay-per-views from the WWF, the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Bad Blood, In Your House, WrestleMania 13, Survivor Series 97, In Your House, Cold Day in Hell, In Your House, Ground Zero. All really good WWF pay-per-views to watch. Now my favorite WCW, not October, my favorite 97 WCW pay-per-views, Uncensored 97, Super Brawl 97, Starrcade 97, Bash at the Beach 97, Fall Brawl 97, and that's it for WCW. I did not like the NWO pay-per-view. It was a mess. Also, Slamboree. WCW Slamboree 97 was really fucking good. A really hot crowd. Especially when Ric Flair returned. If you hear loud noise, it was thundering outside. So those are my favorite. ECW had November to Remember 97 was great. Hardcore Heaven was good. Wasn't great. Barely Legal was really good. So now the final thing I'm going to talk about in this final episode, part 3, 1997, Year in Wrestling Reloaded, Bret screwed Bret. The Montreal screw job. I'm not going to talk about that. I've talked about that to death in my Year in Wrestling 97 videos. Check out my Year in Wrestling playlist if you want to hear my thoughts on the Montreal screw job. But Vince McMahon basically created Mr. McMahon from that interview he did saying Bret screwed Bret. That he did not put over Shawn and give the title up as he was leaving the promotion. Vince said, you champions, and it's a tradition in the business. You always got a job or put the guy over before you leave. And he said Bret didn't do that. Bret wouldn't do that. So Vince said Bret screwed Bret. And right there, Mr. McMahon was created and instantly started getting hated and booed. Of course, Mr. McMahon wouldn't have been as over as a heel without Stone Cold. No way. But Vince was actually right. Bret screwed Bret because in WCW he screwed himself because they didn't know how to book him. Bret Hart in WCW was a fucking train wreck. It was a mess. It was sad. Really sad. And I'm not Bret. Bret Hart was never my favorite. I respect him, but he was never my favorite. But my God, how do you not push Bret Hart as a main eventer in WCW? I will never understand how they misused him so badly. Maybe it was politics. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it was Hogan holding him back. I don't know. Maybe Bischoff. I don't think Bischoff understood how to push Bret Hart. Vince McMahon did. Bret the Hitman Hart became a mega star main eventer in WWF. In WCW, he was barely a mid-carder. It was sad. He was not on every pay-per-view either. I guess he had a sweet deal, $3 million a year, but who gives a fuck? His career was basically ruined. He didn't work every pay-per-view. I guess his contract probably had in it. He didn't have to. It was still fucking sad that Bret Hart was not on more pay-per-views, that Bret Hart did not have a major feud and storyline with Sting or Hogan. It was sad. WCW dropped the ball, and Bret Hart dropped the ball for, I don't know, not speaking up more and complaining about not being booked and used. Like in the 98, to me, it seemed like Bret Hart didn't give a fuck if he was there or not. He just wanted to collect a paycheck. I'm sure he's depressed and upset. They weren't using him the right way. He probably regretted leaving. But Vince was actually right. If you think about it, Vince McMahon was right. Bret screwed Bret when he decided to go to WCW because they did nothing with him, and it was sad. Really sad. So this ends my Year in Wrestling Reloaded 1997 Part 3. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll say it again, 97, if you were around, if you were alive watching, it was a fucking awesome year in wrestling. 1997 was great. Great stuff. Great stuff happened. In ECW, WCW, WWF were all on fire. They were all on pay-per-view at the same time. Epic. Some months, ECW had a pay-per-view. ECW only had 3 pay-per-views in 97, but still, in 1 month, you could see a ECW pay-per-view, WCW, and WWF pay-per-view all in the same month, if you could afford to order them. Or maybe you had a cable black box. I had a friend that actually had a black box to get every pay-per-view and porn channel. But anyways, if you didn't grow up in the 90s or you weren't around, I feel sorry for you as a wrestling fan. Also, if you don't know about the black box, I feel sorry for you too. That was pretty awesome. I didn't have one, but I knew people that had one, so I saw every pay-per-view in 97 at a friend's house because he had a black box. Again, I don't know where the fuck you found to get those, but people found them to, I guess, buy them. It was insane. It's probably people from the cable company were probably illegally selling them to friends they knew, I guess, that had and the damn black boxes had every goddamn channel and every pay-per-view channel, every movie channel. It's insane. The 90s were insane. An insane fucking good time in wrestling. I miss the 90s. Not the early 90s. The early 90s were not very good in wrestling. Up to 96 was damn good. Starting with 96 until 2000 was great in wrestling. Hope you enjoyed Year in Wrestling Reloaded Part 3, 1997. I'll be back with 1998 Part 1, Year in Wrestling Reloaded. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter before I sweat this fucking hat up. Follow me on Twitter at WWE NXT Guy, at NXT WWE Guy, and like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Share my videos. Leave comments, and if you can afford it, leave me a tip in the description. Go to my PayPal, leave me a tip for providing you with all these videos. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you left me a tip. Bye for now, everybody.